Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Salam, Om Swastiastu, Namo Buddhaya, salam kebajikan. Sobat PMI yang ada di Hong Kong, Macau, dan dimanapun Anda berada. Selamat datang kembali di program Ngopi Instan KJRI-Hong-Kong. Pada episode yang ke-22 kali ini, kami sangat beruntung bisa mendatangkan para tamu sumber langsung dari Pencucian Hong Kong. Namun sebelumnya, jangan lupa teman-teman yang belum like dan follow Facebook KJRI-Hong-Kong, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, dan website KJRI-Hong-Kong, segera share, follow, like, dan subscribe. Jangan lupa, teman-teman bagi yang tertarik atau ada pertanyaan pada sesi tanya jawab nanti, silahkan kirim pertanyaan di nomor WA 94001506 ya. Tuliskan pertanyaannya dan namanya siapa. Bagi yang beruntung 500 Hong Kong dolar dari BNI. Dan sobat PMI yang ada di Hong Kong, Macau dan seluruh dunia yang mungkin menyaksikan acara ini, kali ini juga saya akan umumkan dua pemenang yang beruntung untuk Ngopi Instan episode sebelumnya, yaitu Mbak Sri Astini dan Ibu Doa 5. Ya, saya ulang, Mbak Sri Astini dan Mbak Doa 5. Silakan hubungi admin dan dapatkan hadiahnya dari BNI Hong Kong. Baik, sebelum kita menginjak pada topik kita malam ini, yaitu Ketahui dan Hindari pencucian uang, saya akan perkenalkan narasumber langsung dari Biro Investigasi dan Intelijen Keuangan Hong Kong Police Force. Bersama kita ada Police Superintendent Ali Long dan juga Chief Inspector Pat Tang. Welcome to our program, Ali and Pat. So, I think it's better for you to introduce yourself to our viewers. So, come to you, Ali, please.
Thank you. Selamat petang. I'm Ali Leung, Superintendent of Police from Hong Kong Police Force. On my side is my colleague Pat Tan, Chief Inspector of Police. We are most honored to be invited by the Indonesian Consulate to come share with you about the latest money laundering situation in Hong Kong. In the coming presentation, we're going to cover, first, the latest money laundering situation. Second, a brief introduction of our Financial Intelligence and Investigation Bureau. And third, sharing of a relevant money laundering case. And finally, we will do some crime prevention appeal.
Okay, so before we are going to your presentation, probably can you tell us what is FIIB and what do you do actually?
Yes, our bureau name is Financial Intelligence and Investigation Bureau. And from our name, you will be able to understand we handle financial intelligence. We do some proactive analysis of financial intelligence in relation to money laundering and terrorist financing. And also we will conduct some financial investigation against these cases, and we will put these people to jail for any sort of money laundering offenses or terrorism financing.
So you do prevention and also you do investigation?
Yes, currently we are having anti-money laundering campaign. It's extended for 1 month long, and this campaign consists of a series of stakeholder engagement, outreach and training, proactive enforcement, and also publicity. And so today we are very happy to be invited to be here to talk about money laundering to our fellow Indonesian friends.
All right. So, Sobat BMI yang ada di Hong Kong, Macau, dan dimanapun Anda berada, tadi sudah kita dengar sedikit perkenalan dari Ellie dan Pat. Ya, teman-teman, manfaatkan kesempatan ini untuk mencari ilmu sebanyak-banyak tentang money laundering. Nanti akan dijelaskan apa itu money laundering, bagaimana modusnya, apa bahayanya, dan bagaimana tips dan triknya untuk menghindari money laundering. So, please become your presentation, Ali, or Pat maybe, please.
Oh, okay. So I will continue in telling about what is money laundering. We need to understand what money laundering is. So under the Organized and Serious Crime Ordinance, it is an offense for anyone who knowingly or have grounds to believe any property that represent crime poses to deal with that property. The maximum penalty is 5 million fine and 14 years of imprisonment. So it is indeed a very serious offense.
Very serious.
And next, I would like to present the latest money laundering figure in 2021. In the first 3 quarters this year, the number of arrests and prosecution for money laundering both significantly increased compared to the same period last year, with a rise of over 200% and 40% respectively. As for the number of cases, although it has dropped from about 840 to 660 in the same period, but it was only because of the focused enforcement action against money laundering syndicates, resulting in larger number of arrested persons, but a fewer number of cases. So next, I would like to share some observation on money laundering cases with you. Fraud and deceptions accounts for a significant part of crime in Hong Kong, and handling these crime poses is called money laundering. There were, as I mentioned, there were 660 money laundering investigations initiated by the police in the first 3 quarters this year, with 661 persons arrested. Recently, we've seen some cases where domestic helpers were recruited by money laundering syndicate as stooges. And our investigation revealed that some of these helpers were approached through social media or mobile phone mass messaging, while some were approached by strangers on the street during the day off on the street. They were offered a few $1,000s and were persuaded to hand over their account, whereas the gang were obviously taking advantages of the migrant workers' lack of knowledge of Hong Kong law. Most of them were not even aware of the serious consequence of lending or selling the bank accounts to others. In a moment, I will pass to my colleague, Pat, to share with you a relevant case.
Please, Pat.
Thank you. So let us use our latest case as an example to illustrate the involvement of domestic helpers and how they are used by the criminals in perpetrating the crime. First of all, the money laundering syndicate would recruit domestic helpers to be the stood account holders by giving them monetary reward, probably a few thousands only. The domestic helpers would then give the ATM cards and passcodes to the criminals. Separately, scammers developed online romance relationships with victims, who are usually local Hong Kong females, and persuade them to transfer money to the stood accounts. And the final step, when those stood accounts received crime proceeds generated from the deception cases like romance scams, the core members of the syndicates would then withdraw they received the money using the ATM cards of the domestic helpers from the ATMs and handed them over to the mastermind. This is the usual pattern of this kind of cases. So, we really want to bring this to your attention and hoping that we can disseminate the following messages to all the domestic helpers in Hong Kong so that we could work together in preventing such kind of crimes from happening in Hong Kong. No selling bank accounts for monetary rewards. No lending bank accounts to your friends or relatives to handle suspicious transactions. And also, do not handle any funds of unverified source. Do not disclose your personal particulars to others. And last but not least, do not hesitate to seek police assistance.
Ya, thank you Pat, thank you Ellie. So, Sobat PMI yang ada di Hong Kong dan Macau tadi sudah cukup clear dan jelas disampaikan oleh Ali dan Pat tentang apa itu money laundering, juga angka kasusnya. Tadi disebutkan ada sekitar 660 kasus dan 661 tersangka pada kurun waktu 3 bulan terakhir. Sobat PMI juga sudah melihat bagaimana mereka engage dengan mencoba untuk mendekati para PMI supaya digunakan untuk kaki-kaki tangannya menerima uang-uang haram dari mereka. Jadi Sobat PMI semuanya, silakan bagi yang mau bertanya atau ada hal yang perlu disampaikan kepada sumber dari FIB ini silahkan. Sebelumnya saya ada pertanyaan sedikit. I have a small question actually before you respond the question from our viewer. Actually, what is a direct relation between money laundering and domestic helper? What's the direct relation actually?
Maybe let me handle this question. Actually, I don't think there is any direct link of the money laundering and the domestic helper. As I mentioned in my presentation, many of the domestic helper, they were not even aware of the serious consequence of money laundering, and they may just believe they're helping out their relatives or friends. Because the criminal persuade them, say different kind of excuse, and ask them, my account was frozen for unknown reason, so I need help. I want your account. Can you help me out? And I will give you a few $1,000 as a reward or gesture of your help. So what we are doing now is really to maximize the publicity to reach out to the domestic helper.
To raise awareness.
Yes, to tell them, never give away your bank account. It's your bank account represent you. If your bank account handles some crime proceeds, it's your problem. You need to tell the court. This is not crime proceed. And you sell your bank account is a big problem. So we want to tell them, do not lend or sell your bank account.
Jadi pemirsa, seperti yang disampaikan Ali tadi, ya, sebenarnya tidak ada hubungan secara langsung ya, atau PMI yang terlibat langsung dalam proses kasus-kasus money laundering. Beberapa orang yang terlibat ini dikarenakan mereka sebenarnya berniat membantu, ya, membantu untuk mentransfer atau menerima uang dari teman, relatif, keluarga dan sebagainya untuk menggunakan rekeningnya sebagai penampungan sementara sebelum uang itu diberikan kepada yang punya. Nah, namun kesempatan ini digunakan oleh pihak-pihak yang tidak bertanggung jawab dengan mencoba untuk menggunakan rekening daripada domestic worker tersebut dengan imbalan uang tertentu meskipun jumlahnya tidak besar agar bisa digunakan untuk menampung dan diambil kembali. Nah, disinilah proses pencucian uangnya teman-teman. Disinilah proses pencucian uangnya. So Ellie, one more question. Why they are using the domestic helper bank account? They can using another bank account people, I mean.
why they want to use domestic helper account. Actually, they are not the only sector being preyed by the criminal.
Okay.
Many people fall prey of the criminal's offer of the cash in exchange for handing out their bank account.
I see.
So actually, not only foreign domestic
okay.
helper.
Okay.
So that's why in our publicity campaign, we're reaching out to so many community and telling to the elderly, telling to the youth, telling to the domestic helper, and actually all the public. Do not lend or sell your bank account for any money laundering reward. Even if you are just helping out and you do not receive any money reward, it may be a money laundering offense.
Okay.
So it's not only about.
So we have to protect our bank account.
Yes.
We should be very careful when we want to lend or giving our bank account to others.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Perhaps we have a question from the viewers. Let me come to the first question coming from Mrs. Levy. The question is, how will it affect to the job of the domestic helper if she's involved in money laundering directly or indirectly? Second question is, can you tell us some effort made by, of course, Indonesia Consulate and also Hong Kong Police Force to raise awareness of the issue, on the issue? And then the last question, can money laundering be done via international money transfer service like a Western Union or etc.? So please, Ali or Pat maybe will respond to this question. Yeah.
Let me answer the first question first. Yeah. Any domestic helper, if they are under arrest by any criminal offenses, I believe that their employers would have some worries and concerns. And for the money laundering, like I already said before, under the Hong Kong law, the Organized and Serious Crimes Ordinance, the maximum penalty is 14 years imprisonment. And
14 years?
Yeah, 14 years imprisonment. And also there's a fine, the maximum is 5 million Hong Kong dollars. Yeah. So apart from the domestic helpers, if they are involved in the money laundering case, they may subject to the maximum penalty.
Okay.
Yeah. So it must affect their job, I believe.
Yeah, sure. Directly affect the job. Okay. And then the second question.
Let me handle the second question. Can you share the efforts made by the Indonesian Consulate and the Hong Kong Police to raise awareness on this issue?
Yeah.
And as I mentioned at the beginning of the presentation, we are very honored to come here to the Indonesian Consulate to share about the latest money laundering trend. And Mr. Agong is very, very keen to work with Hong Kong Police.
Thank you.
And once we tell them about the cases involving some helper being preyed by the criminal and recruit them at Stooge, he immediately meet us for a meeting.
Yeah.
So we discussed how we should reach to the domestic helper community. And then during this month, as I mentioned, we have an anti-money laundering campaign. And we have a week of leaflet distribution. And Mr. Agong and the Indonesian Consulate is so kindly to join us to the leaflet distribution. So we have been sending out some crime prevention leaflet to the domestic helper so that they understand the serious consequence of money laundering and lending or selling their bank account to others. And so now we are here today. We have a Facebook Live. It is also a very important publicity for us to reach to the domestic helper and the fellows Indonesian. And we are happy to explore more of how to maximize our reach to the Indonesian domestic helper community together with the consulate.
Okay. Ali, jadi this is one of your effort to raise the awareness for the
Yes.
public. Oke, so teman-teman menjelaskan sedikit apa yang ditanyakan oleh Levi melalui penjelasan dari Pat maupun Ellie, bahwa apabila teman-teman mengalami atau terlibat dalam tindak pidana ini sangat berpengaruh dan mempunyai dampak terhadap pekerjaan Anda. Karena ini adalah pidana, otomatis Anda akan diproses. Ketika Anda proses pidana dari laporan polisi, pemeriksaan polisi maupun nanti pengajuan ke pengadilan, itu mengganggu waktu Anda. Otomatis waktu Anda akan terganggu dan Anda tidak bisa bekerja dengan tenang. Jadi very dangerous for your work. So please, jangan lakukan atau jangan mencoba terlibat dalam kegiatan ini. Yang kedua tadi disampaikan oleh Ibu Ali bahwa pada bulan ini, this November, dari FAIB juga melakukan kampanye besar-besaran dalam rangka meningkatkan kesadaran publik. Bukan hanya teman-teman PMI, juga teman-teman juga orang-orang Hong Kong, orang-orang tua, dan juga anak-anak sekolah, supaya lebih banyak orang yang sadar akan kejahatan pencucian uang ini. And then the last question from Levi, I think you still have one. Can the money laundering be done via international money transfer service like Western Union?
Yeah.
Yeah, please.
Yeah. I think actually the criminals will solicit anyone to help them to launder the crime process, to do the money laundering. So actually, the criminals will use various excuses to ask anyone, including the domestic helpers, to lend their accounts to them, or even use other ways, a variety of channels, including the Western Union, to help them to receive crime process and remit the crime process to launder any money. So, as I just said before, do not handle any funds of unverified source. Do not handle any transactions that you feel suspicious. And if you are in doubt of any situation, do not hesitate to seek police assistance.
Okay, thank you, Pat. Let me a bit translate to our viewer. Jadi teman-teman, ya, bukan hanya Western Union, semua bisa digunakan, itu hanya sebagai sarana saja, teman-teman. Ya, Western Union dan yang lain-lain itu hanya sarana saja, ya. Jadi apa yang disampaikan Miss Pat tadi, ya, teman-teman harus tetap berhati-hati, jangan pernah sekalipun meminjamkan rekeningnya pada orang-orang yang tidak jelas, ya, orang-orang yang tidak jelas, yang belum terverifikasi, ya. Bisa juga mereka akan melakukan komunikasi dengan beberapa sosial media yang lain, tetapi in the end proses transfernya mereka menggunakan rekening bank teman-teman. Untuk itu teman-teman benar-benar dijaga rekening Anda dengan baik supaya tidak digunakan. Memang komisi itu kadang membuat kita tergoda, apalagi kalau komisi yang menawarkan teman dekat. Kita merasa bahwa teman dekat itu tidak mempunyai intention jahat terhadap kita, tetapi kita harus waspada bahwa teman dekat juga mempunyai teman yang lain yang belum tentu dekat dan peduli dengan kita, gitu. So we going to the next question from Miss Ika. So my first question is how to avoid becoming a victim of money laundering. So who will be respond? Okay, Pat, please.
How to avoid being a victim of money laundering?
Yeah.
I think the audience tonight already took their first step.
Okay.
Yeah, because they watched this Facebook Live.
Okay,
Yeah,
sure.
and to hear our campaign today.
Okay.
Yeah. But let me repeat again. Yeah,
Please.
because we are afraid that the foreign message could not be disseminated to the domestic helpers.
Yeah.
And we hoped that maybe tomorrow or in the future, they can still remember these messages.
Yeah.
Or even during the weekend, they can disseminate this message to their friends, to other domestic helpers, or even they can share the content of this Facebook Live to their employers. So actually, how to avoid being a victim of the money laundering.
Yes.
Do you remember the 5 points?
Yes.
Yeah. The first point, no selling bank accounts to others for money. And the second point, no lending bank accounts to friends, relatives to handle suspicious transactions.
Okay.
No assisting friends to handle funds of unverified source.
Okay.
No disclosure of personal particulars to others. No hesitation to seek police assistance.
Okay.
5 points in total.
Okay.
And we really hope that the audience tonight, you're watching this Facebook Live, you can remember these 5 points tonight, tomorrow, during the weekend, share to your friends in any occasions, and share this Facebook Live to your friends.
Thank you, Brad. Thank you, Brad.
Maybe would you like to show the PowerPoint slide, the last one again,
last one. Right.
so that we can emphasize this one, or they can do a screen capture and send to their friends?
Can you show to us the last slide? Okay, record.
Yes, this one.
So, teman-teman, jadi yang disampaikan Ibu Pet tadi, ya, salah satu usaha supaya kita tidak menjadi korban adalah dengan menonton Facebook Live ini, ya. Ini adalah usaha kita untuk mengetahui lebih dalam, ya, apa itu money laundering supaya teman-teman lebih paham, teman-teman punya pengetahuan akan tindak pidana pencucian uang ini. Ya. Berikutnya, tadi sudah sampaikan, ya, bahwa salah satu menghindarinya adalah jangan pernah menjual rekening bank kalian, ya, simpan dengan baik-baik. Jangan juga pinjamkan rekening kepada teman atau saudara yang kira-kira diperkirakan ada transaksi yang mencurigakan, ya, transaksi yang mencurigakan. Yang selanjutnya, jangan serta-merta membantu teman mengurus uang dari sumber yang tidak jelas. Misalkan teman-teman diminta untuk mentransfer uang yang sumbernya tidak jelas, teman-teman harus alert, ya, harus mulai sadar bahwa ini tidak benar. Selanjutnya, jangan pernah memberikan data pribadi, ya. Jangan pernah teman-teman memberikan data pribadi kepada orang lain, ya. Kepada orang lain, simpan dengan baik data pribadi Anda, ya. Belum tentu orang yang biasa ketemu kita, orang yang biasa ngobrol kita, ya, itu akan baik terus pada kita, ya. Ada kalanya teman-teman itu digunakan oleh orang lain yang mempunyai itikat jahat. So, lebih baik simpan rekening dan juga data pribadi Anda. Yang terakhir, teman-teman, apabila menjadi korban atau berpotensi menjadi korban, jangan lupa atau jangan takut untuk menghubungi polisi, ya. Kalian juga boleh berkonsultasi dengan kami, nanti akan kami berikan saran-saran terbaik supaya teman-teman terhindar daripada tindak pidana ini. So we come to the second question. If someone is lending her bank account to someone else to be used for money laundering without her knowing, does the investigation apply to her on the person who borrows the account? Yeah.
In every money laundering case, we do full investigations to all the people involved. So, if someone is asking you to borrow your bank account, like if my friend asking you to ask me to borrow my bank account, I would ask why. Because in Hong Kong, it is not difficult to open a bank account.
Right.
Yeah, but there is many different kind of cases during our investigation we encountered. We see different circumstances, like if the ATM cards have given to others. We suppose bank account is a very important thing. Yeah, I won't lend my bank account to you, and I won't give me my password. Give you my password. Like you won't give me your password too.
I see.
Yeah. So we in this kind of situation, so we believe that just for your own sake, everyone, including the domestic helper, should very be careful for their bank accounts, and also be careful to their ATM cards and passcodes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So frankly say that with knowing or not, the one who has the bank account and using for the transaction will be involved to the crime. Or probably it's we have a preliminary act like deception. Of course, someone has to do a deception first to get the bank details, and then if they get the bank details, they will do the money laundering act.
Also, actually, really, the circumstances different in every cases.
Okay.
Yeah, and I also there actually some monthly statement we received.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And once you receive some monthly statement, actually we would check through the statements. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So it's by investigation, huh?
Yeah.
And the investigator will know exactly this is by consent or they don't know when they're using the codes. Correct.
Maybe I supplement a little bit on this point.
Yeah.
As we mentioned in the Organized and Serious Crime Ordinance, it is an offense for any person to knowingly or have grounds to believe the property represents crime proceeds, and you continue to deal with it, right?
Yeah.
If you mention about the ATM card, if you can prove that your ATM card is genuinely left on the street, and you have really no access, no control, and no knowledge about who used it, it may be an excuse, but you must really prove to the court that a reasonable person believe, yes, that ground is a reasonable ground, that you really don't know, and you have no involvement in the handling of the crime proceeds.
So secara garis besar teman-teman, jadi polisi akan melakukan pendalaman ya, apakah benar-benar seseorang tersebut akunnya digunakan orang lain tanpa sepengetahuannya. Ya, polisi akan melakukan itu apabila memang korban tersebut tidak mengetahui dan bisa membuktikan pada polisi bahwa seseorang menggunakan bank account-nya, mungkin polisi juga tidak akan memasukkan yang bersangkutan menjadi salah satu tersangkanya. Kira-kira seperti itu, teman-teman. So we next come to the last question there from Ika. If we are in this situation, should we just simple block that person number or report his or her to the police?
Yes, let me handle this question.
Please,
So, of course, if you consider this potential suspect or criminal is bothering you, of course you are most welcome to block this person so that it will stop interfering with you. But what we would like you to do is to come forward and to provide this information to police. We have a e-report room if you do not consider your personal safety is at risk. This e-report room can be accessed in our police public page, police.gov.hk. You can report such kind of intelligence to us, saying this person, he wants to recruit me as a stooge, what is the telephone, and we really encourage you to come forward and give us more information so that we can follow up the investigation and find out this criminal who recruit innocent people as stooge and engage in money laundering offenses.
Thank you, Ali. So teman-teman, bisa aja teman-teman melakukan blok apabila ada pihak-pihak yang mencoba menghubungi atau menawari hal-hal tersebut, ya. Silakan diblok, ya. Silakan diblok. Namun teman-teman juga bisa mendatangi polisi, bisa juga lapor polisi sedini mungkin apabila mencurigai bahwa ada transaksi-transaksi yang mencurigakan di rekening teman-teman. Jadi teman-teman apabila rekeningnya ada uang masuk berapapun jumlahnya dan itu bukan dari keinginan teman-teman sendiri transaksi itu atau tidak pernah meminta transaksi itu, segera mendatangi bank di mana teman-teman punya rekening atau juga bisa melaporkan, ya. Kami di KJRI pernah menerima pengaduan dari seseorang yang tiba-tiba ada transaksi di rekening banknya. Pemberitahuannya melalui email. Jadi ada beberapa transaksi meskipun jumlahnya tidak besar, tetapi ada transaksi di rekeningnya. Nah, yang bersangkutan mempunyai tiket yang sangat cerdas menurut saya. Dia segera melapor, membuat pengaduan bahwa dia tidak pernah mengendaki transaksi ini. Nah, ini adalah salah satu usaha supaya kita tidak menjadi korban, teman-teman, ya. Ini yang disebut dengan niat baik, ya. Teman-teman harus punya niat baik untuk melakukan hal-hal untuk perlindungan. Ketika teman-teman menerima sesuatu di rekeningnya, segera laporkan. Jangan merasa, wah ini rezeki. Karena itu akan menjebloskan teman-teman kepada pidana yang lebih dalam. So, Ali, we can move to the next question from Miss Nunu. Yeah. What should we do if suddenly we receive a lot of money transfer to our account without knowing the source? Where should we report it? Ya, pertanyaan ini seperti yang saya jelaskan, namun akan lebih pas apabila dari FIB akan menjawab. So, Ali, Pat? Oh, please, Pat.
So when you received a lot of money in a bank account, first of all, do not withdraw the money out. Do not do any transaction. Do not try to do anything with the monies in the bank account.
Someone say maybe we are lucky, so we get some lottery. So please continue.
Yeah, and after that, you should, like what Ali, Madam, just said. You should go to seek police assistance. Like you can go to the nearest police station, or you can do the e-report online through the Hong Kong Police Force website. Yeah.
Oke, teman-teman, ya sangat clear teman-teman ya. Tadi jelaskan oleh Bu Pat ya. Jadi teman-teman jangan menganggap apabila menerima uang besar dalam rekening Anda itu suatu rezeki teman-teman ya. Bukan ya. Itu adalah awal bencana bagi teman-teman ya. Jujur saja apabila teman-teman menerima yang bukan haknya, segera kembalikan pada yang punya ya. Apabila teman-teman menerima sejumlah uang seperti yang disampaikan oleh Ibu Pet tadi, segera teman-teman membuat laporan ke bank di mana Anda membuka rekening tersebut. Atau laporkan kepada polisi terdekat. Polisi akan melakukan penelusuran. Paling tidak Anda sudah diproteksi oleh polisi. Paling tidak polisi sudah tahu bahwa Anda tidak mempunyai niat untuk melakukan transaksi-transaksi yang tidak Anda kehendaki. Itu kira-kira teman-teman. So, Ali, we come to the next question from Rosianti. What should we do if we already give our bank account to someone? We only know by online. Should we close the account? Please,
Okay. So, I think the first thing this person should do is to approach police.
Okay.
I think the key point is not whether to close a bank account.
Okay.
Is to gather as much as information.
Okay.
Who do you give this account to, under what circumstances, and any other things that you know that you give away this bank account, and where is this person?
Okay.
How can we identify this person?
So we should go to the bank first, or?
I think the best thing to do is approach the police.
Police, okay.
Either going to the nearest police station report room, or do it gathering all the information and do a e-report, so that we can immediately follow up the investigation and do not handle the deposits in the bank.
Okay. So teman-teman, apa yang disampaikan oleh Madam Eli tadi, jadi apabila teman-teman menerima hal seperti itu, segera teman-teman melapor. Hal terbaik adalah melapor kepada polisi terdekat. Ya, teman-teman harus segera lapor ke polisi terdekat. Jangan takut teman-teman ya. Polisi akan membantu Anda untuk memverifikasi uang ini dari mana. Ya, polisi akan melakukan penelusuran. Bisa saja teman-teman ke bank di mana teman-teman buka, tetapi kemungkinan bank akan membuat prosedur yang teman-teman mungkin susah dan sebagainya. Mungkin lebih baik ke polisi saja, ya. Bisa datang kantor polisi atau tadi disarankan untuk membuat laporan via e-report, ya. Teman-teman tentunya sudah tahu bahwa Hong Kong mempunyai e-report yang sangat baik, ya. Datang aja ke websitenya, ya, website HKPF, hkpf.gov.hk. Di sana ada kolom e-report. Tinggal klik dan isi tentang semua apa yang terjadi dan mereka akan merespon dengan menghubungi balik pelapor. Ya, kira-kira seperti itu. Oke, Ali, actually some of the viewer also asking, not asking, it's a suggestion, yeah, suggestion. Why the Hong Kong Police Force or FIB not having direct program, I mean, in touch with the public, for instance, like domestic helper. So, is there any program in this month campaign so you can touch directly to them, like what you do actually last week?
Yes.
Is it any other program?
Actually, the Hong Kong Police and our FIB is also doing a lot of outreach.
Okay.
I think that it may not be correct to say there is no program
Yeah.
to be enriched with the domestic helper. So in this month, as I mentioned, we are running the anti-money laundering campaign, and we have a lot of outreach.
Yeah.
So just like what we did in the last Sunday, we distribute leaflet to domestic helper.
Yeah.
We went to Central and we went to the Sugar Street.
Okay.
So actually we are in direct contact with them. And we are chatting with them and explaining to them what's the risk associated with selling or borrowing of bank account to others.
Okay.
And as of now, myself and my colleague Pat has arrived in here to have a live interaction with Indonesian fellows.
Okay.
So we are actually very keen to maximize our reach to the community.
Appreciate. Okay, thank you Ali. So teman-teman tadi ada yang menyarankan menanyakan apakah mereka juga program lain. Tadi baru saja dijelaskan oleh Ibu Ali bahwa dalam bulan ini ya mereka juga melakukan kunjungan-kunjungan ke beberapa kelompok-kelompok komunitas PMI berada baik di Causeway Bay, Central dan beberapa tempat yang lainnya. Minggu lalu mereka ke Sugar Street dan juga mereka ke Queen's Road ya. Queen's Road in Central.
Yes, Queen's Road Central.
Queen's Road Central. Jadi mereka melakukan sosialisasi kepada teman-teman PMI atau para pejalan atau teman-teman yang sedang berkumpul di satu tempat dan juga memberikan informasi-informasi dan leaflet, brosur tentang bahaya money laundering. So we have another question there. Only bank account. Can Alipay or WeChat pay account used to money laundering?
Yeah.
Please.
Yeah, of course, yeah, because the criminals could use all kinds of channels and using various excuses to solicit anyone, solicit others to help them to launder the money.
Okay.
And apart from the channels, actually about the amount. So maybe how much money involved in money laundering constitutes in offenses. How about maybe just like 1,000 or several thousand? According to the Hong Kong law, the amount, if the monies are the crime process, then it would constitute a money laundering.
Okay.
No matter how much and what is the channel.
Okay. So teman-teman, menanggapi pertanyaan terakhir tadi yang disampaikan, ya apapun platform yang digunakan untuk transaksi LIP atau apalah tadi yang disampaikan, itu bisa digunakan untuk transaksi money laundering teman-teman. Karena apa? Karena semua itu kan basisnya mereka menggunakan nomor rekening Anda. Nomor rekening Anda kan harus dimasukkan ke dalam beberapa aplikasi itu untuk supaya aplikasi itu bisa dijalankan. Jadi kembali lagi basicnya adalah rekening Anda. Jadi sebaik mungkin Anda menjaga rekening Anda, sebaik mungkin Anda tidak meminjamkan rekening Anda, itulah hal terbaik yang bisa kita lakukan supaya kita terhindar. So another suggestion from our viewer actually, Do you have any intention to make like a joint program direct with them? Because they are keen to working with you. I have some input from them. They because our phone is also public, so all the domestic helpers know my number, so they are easy to reach me. So sometimes I got a good input from them, like what I say. They suggested you from MIB to have a direct program with them. They are very happy if you are going through them directly, so and then to make a together campaign with them. Is it possible to make like this?
I think we're happy to discuss how we can be of assistance to the fellows Indonesian. We're very happy to know how we can help them, apart from giving them information. So we're happy to discuss.
Okay.
And actually, I would like to take the time to respond to the last question.
Okay.
I think the last question is a very good one because it mentioned the WeChat Pay and the Alipay.
Yeah.
And so I would like to share with you the latest money laundering trend is that we remark that some new technology, financial technology, has been used as a conduit of money laundering, including virtual bank.
Okay.
Well, I mean, apart from traditional bank account, the virtual banks, the store value facilities, just like Alipay, WeChat Pay, many other channels they can pay, and which is connected to the social media.
Okay.
And also a recent one we look into is the virtual asset as well.
Yeah.
So it's a very valid question for the helper to ask. It is really not just the bank account. The new technology, the financial technology will also be the conduits possible for money laundering.
Oke, teman-teman ya. Untuk saran yang tadi pihak FIB tadi menjelaskan, itu adalah hal yang menarik yang mungkin nanti mereka bisa akan buat formatnya. Mereka akan senang bekerjasama langsung dengan teman-teman PMI yang mempunyai komunitas-komunitas yang peduli terhadap bimbingan hukum kepada PMI lainnya. So we have another question. Where can I find more information of the anti-money laundering campaign? Or can I have a copy of leaflet so can send to my friend?
Yes, absolutely. We are very happy that the viewer are very interested to know more about our AML campaign. Actually, we have an AML campaign website.
Okay.
And in a moment, I will be providing to Mr. Agong.
Okay.
And also, we have a set of leaflet that is tailor-made for the fellows Indonesians. So we are also happy to share a copy with Mr. Agong so that you can distribute to your fellow citizens.
Alright. Oke, teman-teman. Tadi ada pertanyaan, ya, di mana kita bisa mendapat informasi lebih. Nanti teman-teman bisa melihat ke websitenya. Untuk leaflet atau brosur, teman-teman juga bisa nanti minta ke FIB melalui kami. Nanti mereka akan mendistribusikan melalui kami dan kami akan sebar ke teman-teman yang membutuhkan. Jadi teman-teman komunitas yang peduli terhadap isu ini, ya, jangan ragu, jangan segan untuk kontak saya. Nanti akan kami berikan brosur dan leafletnya. Silahkan sebarkan ke teman-temannya, ke siapa saja yang membutuhkan. Semakin banyak orang mengetahui isu ini, semakin baik. Semakin banyak informasi ini tersebar, semakin aman kita dan teman-teman kita. Kalau teman kita aman, kita juga aman, teman-teman. Karena biasanya yang mempengaruhi kita ya adalah teman kita. Jadi usahakan informasi ini juga diterima oleh teman kita supaya kita juga aman. So, Ali, a part of the question from our colleagues there. One more that we want to know about the last cases that involving our citizen. Maybe you don't need to mention in detail, but at least our citizens also want to know how deep she involved in these cases. Is it okay to tell to them?
Yeah, I think
The case is
yeah.
still under investigation.
Under investigation.
But the fact is that those arrested persons are the account holders of the involved bank accounts.
Okay.
Yeah. So this is the fact.
All right.
Yeah. So back to what we talked previously. Your bank account is very important to you. You have to exercise your precautions to handle your bank accounts.
Yeah.
And I want to repeat the
No
5
problem.
points.
It's campaign.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think actually many of you has already get our messages. Is not to selling your bank account to harm others. Not only the bank accounts, but also some funds that you may doubt the source. The source are not verified. You may ask the people who asked you to handle the funds or to ask you to borrow your bank account. You ask him or her why you have to borrow my bank account, why you are not using your bank account, why not you going to handle such funds, but you are asking me to handle such funds.
Yeah.
And why you are giving me some monetary reward to ask me to handle some funds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh iya. Ya, jadi teman-teman sekali lagi ya, yang disampaikan Ibu Pet tadi teman-teman harus kritis ya, kritis terhadap rekening Anda. Di luar Anda hati-hati menjaga rekening Anda. Anda juga kritis apabila benar ada teman-teman yang mencoba untuk meminjam rekening Anda. Apabila itu teman atau relatif sekitar Anda, ya teman-teman harus banyak bertanya. Jadi misalkan ini uang apa, ini untuk apa, kemana dan sebagainya, teman-teman harus kritis. Jadi teman-teman harus tahu detailnya supaya teman-teman tidak tertipu atau tidak masuk ke dalam jeratan ini. Jadi tidak salah. Karena teman-teman yang punya bank account, teman-teman berhak untuk menanyakan apabila teman atau relatif ingin menggunakan rekening bank Anda. Ya, tadi diulang-ulang lagi, jangan dipinjamkan, jangan dijual, ya, diulang-ulang terus, ya, supaya teman-teman benar tahu bahwa rekening itu teman-teman itu benar-benar sangat rahasia dan tidak boleh disebarluaskan supaya teman-teman terhindar. So, Ellie and Pat, ya. It's very clear presentation. It's very clear giving us knowledge. So before we close this program, so is there any short conclusion from you?
Yes. First of all, the Hong Kong police is very thankful for Mr. Agong and the Indonesian Consulate in arranging this Facebook Live for us. So the concluding message of today is: say no to lending or selling bank accounts. Avoid committing criminal offenses.
Okay, thank you. So, any last message from you, Pat?
No,
thank you.
I won't repeat the 5.
This is a campaign. So teman-teman, ya, kita sudah banyak belajar dari sumber langsung teman-teman dari FIIB. So, saya tidak perlu lagi mengingatkan teman-teman apa yang sudah sampaikan, tetapi saya juga boleh berpesan. Saya boleh berpesan bahwa untuk menghindari Anda terjerat daripada tindak pidana pencucian uang ini, ya, teman-teman kira-kira lakukan beberapa hal sebagai berikut, ya. Teman-teman atur keuangan Anda dengan baik, ya, atur keuangan Anda, ya, tabung dan atur keuangan Anda dengan baik. Yang kedua, jangan pernah pinjamkan rekening Anda. Ya. Jangan pernah menjual rekening Anda. Ya. Dan terakhir, teman-teman jangan tertutup, ya. Bergaulah dengan komunitas, majelis, dan lakukan kegiatan-kegiatan yang positif supaya teman-teman terhindar dari menjadi korban daripada tindak pidana money laundering ini. So again, thank you for coming, Ellie.
Thank you.
Hope this is not your last visit, so you will join with us with another program.
Yes.
And also that you will visit our community You come direct to the public, to our citizen, giving more information about money laundering. So,
Thank you.
yeah,
Terima kasih.
sama-sama, sama-sama. So, sobat PMI yang ada di Hong Kong dan Macau, sudah hampir lebih 1 jam kiranya kita ngobrol tentang money laundering, ya, tentang pencucian uang. Kami berharap bahwa apa yang disampaikan malam ini menjadi bekal dan juga berkah bagi teman-teman untuk terhindar dari pencucian uang ini. Memang tidak hanya pencucian uang terjadi di Hong Kong, ya, yang terjadi kepada teman-teman domestic helper, juga masih ada kejahatan-kejahatan lain seperti penipuan online dan sebagainya. Intinya teman-teman harus tetap waspada, ya. Cara terbaik adalah melindungi dari Anda dan dengan menjaga personal properti Anda, ya. Hal-hal pribadi tetap dijaga, ya. Tetap bersosial media dengan bijak, ya. Bersosial media dengan bijak dan bergaul dengan orang-orang terbaik yang Anda kenal. Akhir kata, kami dan seluruh kru Ngopi Instan KJRI-Hong-Kong mengucapkan mohon maaf yang sebesar-besarnya apabila ada kekurangan dan khilaf. Sampai ketemu di Ngopi Instan berikutnya. Dadah. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.